plug. You can replace it obviously, and you can buy it from Mercedes. I think you can buy a replacement torque converter drain plug for $6 or $8. It's not expensive, and it's just a part of the parts kit for servicing the transmission. It's easy to do once you do the preparation. The hardest thing is turning over the engine by hand, or finding the tool that turns over the engine to access this plug. But once you can do that, that's fine. It's just a part of the job. It's just a part of the maintenance. So we'll just go back up in here. We can see the transmission in here on this plate. I know it's probably hard to read what's on the plate here, but this plate here identifies what transmission mine is. If you could read it properly, I don't think the focus is too good, but that says on there, it's stamped 7229 transmission, and the part number and things like that. So you need to tell Mercedes that when you're ordering the parts. You can tell by the oil pan also. The dimples that are in the pan tells me that this is the transmission that takes the blue and automatic transmission fluid. So the deep dimples in the pan, I've got lucky with this car that this is the transmission that I can fill up with the dipstick. So I can easily, I don't have to pump any fluid back up into the transmission pan. I can fill it up from the engine bay, which is really good. So there's just another shot here. You can see everything it's pretty clean already. I've already gone through with brake cleaner and cleaned up some bits and pieces in there to try and make the job again, like to try and make things clean and easy. You can see again the cross member, by removing it out of the way. By removing the cross member out of the way, I've got heaps of space to work with, and it's not too bad. So alright, so the next thing we need to talk about is the parts and things that I've ordered to do this transmission change. Alright guys, so we're back again. So I'm going to go through all the parts and things like that I've ordered to do this job. Some things that might help you out, and just in general what you need to get this job done comfortably, and make sure everything's replaced properly. So we'll just go through everything. I've got a measuring jug. It's a 1 litre measuring jug, and it's got the measurements on the side. I've got a bucket here also. It's a 9.6 litre plastic bucket, and the reason that I've got these, and the important thing is the bucket marking on the inside, and this jug has marking on also, because we need to accurately measure how much transmission fluid comes out of the car. So these are important. You need some, when you drain the fluid, you need to find out how much fluid that you're actually draining, and if you do the job right, you should get around 9 litres, or maybe even 10 litres from the car, which is the total amount. If I drain the oil cooler, the torque converter and the transmission today, hopefully we might be able to get around 9 or 10 litres from the car. So I've got brake cleaner, brake and parts cleaner here. It was on special, so I got 3 cans for $12, which is really good. That's why I've got so much of it, and you can never be too clean with this job. So like I said before, this is another job that you need to be clean and tidy about. So there's plenty of brake cleaner, gloves. These are important too. Get yourself some gloves. The black gloves are pretty good. They do rip, and find yourself the right size, obviously. But what I do, I end up going through about 5 pairs per job, because they end up ripping and things like that. But again, it's just another way to keep things clean and tidy. I've got the Mercedes Benz spec oil here. This is the 236-15 oil. I've got 11 litres here, so there's enough to do the entire transmission, and completely refill the entire transmission with a little bit left over. I think it works out to be around $20 a litre for the Mercedes Benz spec oil, and I've got 11 litres there, so it's around, I think this is the most expensive part of the entire job, the actual oil itself. if you can find cheaper oil, then go for it. I got this straight from Mercedes Benz. It was $220 for this oil, but it leaves no questions asked. By using the best quality oil, you're leaving no stone unturned, as a matter of speech. So we'll just go on to the next thing. So another handy tool that you might need is a thermometer to take the transmission oil temperature. You would have seen a lot of people using different contact thermometers. I think this one was $30. I've tested it already. It seems to do pretty good. So that's just another handy piece. You need the dipstick, and when you're ordering the dipstick, I know for some transmissions they don't have a dipstick, but if you are ordering the dipstick, I talked to the distributor and the company that orders these parts in, and they said when people are servicing their Mercedes transmissions, one mistake a lot of people make is they don't get the right dipstick, and they do come in different lengths. I contacted Mercedes firsthand to try and get one, but they said they don't manufacture them anymore and they couldn't sell me one. So I did end up getting the right one for my job. It's got the yellow handle there, and I've just kept it in the plastic because, like I said, I need to keep everything clean for this job. I've got the replacement filter here. Again, it's the genuine Mercedes Benz part. I think it was about $90. Again, you can get cheaper ones, but with this job I just wanted to do it properly, so I got the best replacement filter that I could get. The box is just there also, Mercedes Benz. And I'll go through these other little bits and pieces. So a lot of you guys watching this video have probably already watched other YouTube videos and have a general idea of all the parts needed, but I'll just talk about them quickly. So these are the replacement sump bolts. You do need to replace the bolts. They're a single-use retaining bolt set by Mercedes. I think they cost me $10 for all 6 of them. It's not that expensive to replace, so it doesn't really matter. You can see in the bag I've got a replacement plug for the torque converter in there. I think that was about $6 or $8. The locking pin for the dipstick tube, that's just a secure locking pin. And you can see these little O-rings here. These are the O-rings for the return lines for the oil cooler, because I'm going to try and flush the oil cooler, the hard lines from the oil cooler. So I've just got replacement O-rings also. Again, it wasn't expensive. I think it was $2 for all 4 of them. So they were 50 cents each. It's not a big expense to replace. And you can see the copper. You can see in the bag here that copper gasket also. So that's for the transmission sump. Just up here you can see the oil drain pan. I need to give that a bit of a clean out. I've got some rags and things also. And the last but not least, again I've kept it in the bag, the gasket for the transmission sump. So again, keep everything clean, guys, and keep everything under wraps until you really do need it. And if you have everything organized and sort of laid out the way that I've done it now, you can see the job is not very intimidating. So okay, we're back again. You can see here, guys, I'm underneath the car and I've got my trusty bucket, and I've got my oil drain pan. It's lined up right underneath the transmission sump. And like I was saying before, you want to do this job and you want to keep things clean. So you can see a little drip coming out there from the transmission. The reason that I don't have the pan on the ground is because I don't want fluid splashing everywhere. I want to keep things clean and tidy, right? I'm just going to labour this point for the entire video. You want to keep things clean and tidy, make things easy on yourself, and you want to come away from this feeling that you've done a good job and you haven't made a mess of everything. You can see I've seen some terrible videos out there where they're draining the oil pan and they're draining the automatic transmission fluid, and the fluid's going everywhere. There's dirt everywhere. It doesn't matter if they're in a workshop or, you know, if they're out just in a car parking lot, but they've just really made a mess of things. And you can just make things really easy on yourself. It doesn't have to be expensive, and you don't need any fancy equipment. So I've loosened off the plug here, and I'm just going to start draining off the fluid into the pan. The car's been sitting here about 15-20 minutes now, so it's actually not that hot or anything. So there we go. We've pulled the plug. We can see the red fluid in there and the copper gasket. So I'll let that drain a little bit. So the first thing I'm going to do now is change my gloves, because I've just got fluid on my gloves. I'm just going to be OCD about this now. Alright guys, this is just another quick tip that I've come across that I thought it might be good to add to the video. So I've drained the sump, the transmission sump, but you can see I'm still getting a pretty steady stream of fluid. And the reason for this is, as you can see on the transmission drain pan, the plug is on this side. So I think what the best thing to do is to you loosen off the torque nuts. You loosen it off much more on this side of the pan where the drain plug is. So wherever the pan is and the plug, loosen it off the most on this side, so it actually leans and tilts into this side, and it helps drain off the fluid. So you can actually see, I don't know if you can see it here in the video, but it's actually really loose on this side. So that the pan is on an angle, and it's helping all that extra fluid drain out of the hole. So everything is all over the place today. So by putting the transmission drain pan on an angle, it's just helping all that extra fluid drain out of the hole before we do the next step, which is to take that entire pan off. So give it a good good shake here. Right, we're back once again, and you can see that I've really loosened the pan off now, and you can give it a really good shake. And guys, it doesn't matter how much you shake this pan, the fluid, it's not going to spill over the top. It's going to always come out that hole. So just make things easy on yourself, and you can just get it to drain by giving it a good shake. And it's, but the bolts are loose. They're loose enough to hold the pan up, but they're not too loose where fluid is actually going to come out here and spill all over the place. So as you can see, I've just gone around and loosened off the bolts. They're about to come out. You can see, guys, here that I've got the pan just hanging on by one bolt now. You can see there's no need to balance the pan to remove it or anything like that. It'll just do its thing. Just let it drain on an angle. You can give it a bit of a shake again. See, it's not going anywhere, and the oil is just going straight into the pan. So it's all good. There's plenty of oil in the pan. It does take a bit of time and a bit of messing around, but we got there in the end, and there's no spillage anywhere. So guys, you can see that's the final bolt that's holding the oil pan in. It's basically directly opposite. I don't know if you can see in there. There you go. It's directly opposite the oil, the ATF drain plug. That's the last one you need to remove. And you can see that the cross member here, the engine and the chassis cross member, it holds the pan up, so you don't have to worry about it falling or anything. But you can safely remove every other bolt except this last one, and the pan will just tilt and drain itself. All the fluid will just go into the pan, and you don't have to worry about it making a mess everywhere. So there you go. We'll remove the bolt and the pan, and we'll have a look. So we've just removed the drain pan, and we've just removed the filter. A quick word of warning: the filter does just pull off the bottom of the gearbox, but it does hold a lot of fluid too. So be prepared for a little bit to fall out. See, it's still draining now. It does hold a bit of fluid, so that's just a quick thing that you need to think about when pulling it out. But that's the filter and the pan removed. We've just got the magnet in here with the bit of sludge on it, but we'll check that out in a minute. So the next thing to do is to pull all this down, give it a good clean, and set it aside. But that's the main part done, and as you can see, there's no mess under the car or anything like that.